Hi, it's me again, making a video while Bridget is sleeping. I'm going to go off and do that myself in a second, but what I want to do is share with anybody who's watching this series of videos about more truths, because I have got a lot to get off my chest. It's been years and years worth of intense alien experiences from that first experience, from the Pleiadians telling me that I was a special star sister sent to Earth on a special mission. I aimed myself at the highest truth and put all my energy into it that I could possibly muster for the sake of the truth of humanity, of mankind. And the truth is that we were given this physical vehicle, our physical bodies, as a representation of what could be as a part of space, not as a planetary, sole, insular part of evolution amongst the whole, but as a part of our integration with our star brothers and sisters who also wish to be on Earth in their proper manifestation in the third dimension alongside us. At present, it is not possible for them to be here in that manifestation. Some are able to be here, and others too can shapeshift. There are races who are here constantly, and that is part of the third dimension's construct for the integration of all races, is that the star races are anchored here already in their third dimensional existent bodies. But for humanity, everything is shifting so much that our DNA structure will one day be strong enough so that we can withstand space travel, so that we will be able to travel interdimensionally and see futures as we are whizzing past glimpses and windows of other times. We are a superior race, and we haven't been realized. We are the originals from the gods, who are space beings also, who are whole dimensions within themselves. They operate within dimensions. This is what I believe. When I was told that I had a special mission, I didn't get given a handbook. This is what you're going to accomplish. This is what you have to achieve. I wasn't given a James Bond car. I wasn't given any tools or anything. I had my physical body. I had my mind and my heart. I had my pure faith in myself as somebody in touch with the divine, as somebody in touch with Mother Earth, as I can communicate with the planet. Not that I choose to, it's just one of these things. I have chosen to in the past, but more than often it's been a need, I suppose. I've helped her and she's helped me. But my path wasn't just helped by Mother Earth. I was helped by crystal skulls I met. They downloaded me with light language, and I have no idea what it said. I took in a lot of information, and I've been using it without being able to access it. I can't go into my body and find out what it is. It just comes up at the right time. Yeah, I had help from gods. It does sound a bit odd. It sounds quite strange. And this is the sort of thing that can make your little sister think that you really are crazy. So try not to tell them. But what I've discovered along the way are some amazing things. Not only did the implant come out of my foot, let me show you my foot. This is my foot. That's where the implant came out. It just looks like hard skin, really. Ew. Maybe if I pull it with it. I know this is a rude gesture in some countries. Oh, that's quite serious, really, isn't it? For years I had really bad pain, like pins sticking in through the bottom of the planet into me, and it was really, really horrible. But, you know, it's a small price to pay. And anyway, if it's for frequency technology and I became immune to it, that's fine, because, you know, I waltzed in and out of places in big boots. I was wearing, like, quite sort of weird clothing, you know, stuff full of studs and big Egyptian makeup, and I was doing some very mad things. And I could have been accused as quite quite a few times. But what I was doing was like anchoring truths about who's doing what on the planet, because they try and disguise it. They try and make out that the humans don't know anything. But we do, you know, we're not stupid. We know we're trying to be controlled. So I've been like stopping, it sounds a bit mad, but stopping them from trying to manipulate us so that from the surface we look like we're actually a bit ignorant. Anyway, I can't really describe it right now. I'm going to tell you about my other foot. This is my other foot. This is something which I have to hack into regularly. That's the scar of a disease which started growing out of this foot as a kind of reaction, which was very, not very nice thing I have to deal with. I had scales growing out of my foot. I had a scale going, and then another one, and then another one. As I was looking at it, because I used to have to cut the hard skin off of it anyway, and as I was looking at it, these scales were growing out. And so I pulled the nearest blade I could and started cutting these scales, and as I was cutting them, they were starting to grow quicker, so I stopped, and then it stopped, and I could see this intelligence. So I thought, fuck this, I'm just going to cut it. And I started hacking through the scales, and I had to cut a whole load off, and it was like quite painful. It was like almost like a part of myself, but it wasn't. And when I managed to get those, then I saw 2 lines growing in my foot, like 2 lines of DNA. I saw them, and my instincts were to cut through these lines as well. So I cut through the lines, and then when I cut those, I realised that something was awakening inside it. It's like maybe it was its escape system or something I'd cut through. Its plan was to try and take over my body so that I was covered in scales. But then I saw this one black line was left, and that I knew that if I didn't cut through that before it realised, that I was going to dematerialise. So I cut through that one as well. And when I cut through that, that was really, really painful. And all that happened here, in that patch there. Loads and loads and loads of really disgusting, horrible alien genetics. And don't ask me what I did with the bits. You know, I would love to have kept them and sealed them and taken them to a scientist, but I was too freaked. But I was cool. That's the problem. You know, I was too cool about it. I was just taking it in my stride, like, oh, you know, just chuck it away. Because I didn't want to make a fuss. I didn't want people picking up that, you know, I was someone a bit different, and therefore I had to be studied and all that. But right now, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind going and talking to some people. I wouldn't mind telling them what I know about. I wouldn't mind telling them what I've done. I've done some amazing things. I'll tell you what else I did. In 2001, I moved to Bristol of England. Bristol is this amazing city throughout the history of the world where all the riches of the world went to Bristol. Everything from the east came to the west through Bristol. People discovered America from Bristol and China and the rest of it. But when it was all starting to get organised, everything, all the riches would come through Bristol. And Bristol was the richest place in Europe. I mean, it was richer than London. It was going to be the capital city of Britain until they discovered Greenwich Mean Time, which the Greenwich line meant that it had to be in London, which was where the kings and queens all did their business anyway. So Bristol was where all the merchants were. Bristol is where everything goes in and out, right? All the secrets of the world were discovered, and, you know, basically, I went there with a completely open mind in 2001. I'd split from a relationship, and I went there, and I just decided I was going to discover the city on my own. So, you know, for the first few days, I was walking around and I was seeing the most incredible sights. Things made out of stone, which were rather large. You know, I saw basic Masonic art everywhere. So, I knew I was standing in, like, right, here I am, surrounded by people who are extremely knowledgeable and able to complete whatever task they set their minds to, perhaps. But they don't know what they were dealing with when they met me, right?